All right, last section of SAT practice tests. This is test number 4, section 4. Number 1. 1 pound of grapes cost $2. At this rate, how many dollars will C pounds of grape cost? 2 times C. So it is A. Very easy. Number 2. Tracy collects cells and treats figurines, and she tracks the number of figurines in her collection in the graph below. On what interval did the number of figures decrease the fastest? So the steepest slope, that's going down. So here's going down and down. So it is steeper here, as you can see. So it's 3 to 4 months, between 3 to 4 months. 3. In a random sample of 200 cars of the particular model, 3 has a manufacturing defect. At this rate, how many of 10,000 cars of the same model will have the manufacturing defect? So out of 200, there were 3 defects. So for 10,000, how many will there be? So from here to here, what we can do is you can multiply by what? 50. You can multiply by 50 to get 2 to 100. So you do the same thing. 3 times 50 is 350. Or what you can do is you can also cross multiply. So you get 30,000 when you multiply this equals to 200x. So when you divide by hundreds, it's 300 equals to 2x. So you can divide by 2s to get 150 that way as well. There are multiple ways to solve ratios. Number 4. The scatter plot above shows data collected on the length and the width of the iris setosa petals. A line of best fit for the data is also shown. Based on the line of best fit, if the width is 19 millimeters, right? Yeah, I read it from my booklet. So if the length is, or the width is 90 milliliters, so again, read it carefully. The width, this is the width, that's the length, is 19. So somewhere here, it's increasing by 2, right? So this is 15, 17, 18, 19. So somewhere here, or you can plug into the calculator, what will be the length? So it will be somewhere between 50 to 55. Let's see. So it has to be C, right? There's only one number that is between 50 to 55. Okay? You could plug into the equation, but for this one, you didn't have to. It's right here, right? You can assume approximately what that length will be. 5. In the figure above, line L and M are parallel. So these two are parallel. And Y is 20. So this is 20. That means this is corresponding angle, same thing, 20. And Z is 60. So these two add up to 80. Then X must be 100, right? Because the triangle adds up to what? 180. So if this is 80, it's 180 minus 80 to get 100 degrees. 6. 2 types of tickets were sold for the concert held at the amphitheater. Tickets to sit on a bench during the concert cost $75 each, sitting at the bench. And tickets to sit on the lawn during the concert was $40 cheaper. And organizer of the concert announced that the 350 tickets had been sold and that 19,250 had been raised through the ticket sales alone. Which of the following system of equation could be represented? Find the number of tickets for bench seats and the number of tickets for lawns. So total B plus L was total how many were sold? 350 tickets. And bench was $75. So 75 times B, number of benches the ticket were sold. and L lons were 40. So 40 times L, it raised 19 to 50. 19,000 to 50. So where are those? So they add up to 350. Oops. Just dropped my pen. So not these. Oh, that one could be. Right? They got to add up to 350. And 75B plus, not multiplying, plus 75, no, 40, it was $40. So it is D. Okay. 7, in the xy plane, the graph of which of the following equation is aligned with the slope of 3? Slope of 3, here. Y equals mx plus b. This is the slope. This is y-intercept. Again, there will be a lot of questions, at least 3 or 4 on each test involving y equals mx plus b, the equation for a linear function. This is a slope, rate of change. This is initial value or y-intercept, what you start with. Okay. All right, number 8. In the equation above, which of the following is the possible value of x plus 1? Oh, no, x plus 1, not x. So let's just call this what? Y. So y equals to 2 over y. When you cross multiply, you get y squared equals to 2. So when you square root it, y becomes root 2. So it could be plus or minus root 2, but here we only have root 2. So x plus 1 can be root 2. 9. The glass picture above can hold a maximum value of 473 cubic centimeters, which is approximately 16 fluid ounces. Okay. So what is the value of K in centimeters? So we're going to use this. So the volume is this. They gave you that. So 473 is the volume, what they gave you, and it is 7 pi k cubed over 48. And we are solving for k. So cross multiply. Multiply by 48 on both sides. K is the height of it. So it's 48 times 473. 22704 equals to 7 pi k cubed. So divide by 7 pi. So divide by parentheses 7 pi. If you just put 7 pi without parentheses, it's going to divide by 7 but multiply the pi. So you have to do that. And then cube root it. So how do you do that? It's raise it to 1/3. Cube root is same thing as raise it to 1/3, right? Square root is raise it to 1/2. So it is 10.11. So it's D. 10. Water pours into the glass slowly and at a constant rate. Which of the following graph best illustrates the height of the water level in the glasses as it is filled? Pour into water glasses. So what do you think? If it's keep pouring, when you look at the shape, the height will slowly increase because it gets wider, right? So here, if you put a little bit of water, same amount, it might erase this much, but as it gets higher, it might just increase a little bit because it gets wider, so it needs more volume to go higher. So the height would increase slowly, right? So here increase faster and then slowly. So it is C. 11. Jenny has a pitcher that contains 1 gallon of water. How many times could Jenny completely fill the glass with 1 gallon of water? So what was the total volume? The total volume was 16 fluid ounces. So the volume was 16. And how many pitchers does that contain 1 gallon of water? So it was 128 ounces for 1 gallon. And the shape that we had a volume of 16 ounces. So you just divide by that. So it is 128 divided by 16, which gives you 8. So it is 8 pictures. 12. Roberto is an insurance agent who sells 2 types of policies, 50,000 policy and 100,000 policy. Last month, his goal was to sell at least 57 insurance policies, which while he did not meet his goal, the total value of the policy he sold was over 3 million. Which of the following system was over? Okay, that's a keyword. Which of the system of inequality describe X, the possible number of 50,000 policies, and Y, the possible number of 100,000 policies? So X plus Y was less than, his goal was to sell at least 57, but he didn't, so this is Y. So X plus Y was less than 57, didn't meet at least 57, equal or greater. But he sold over 3 million. So that was what? X was for 50,000. So it's 50,000 X plus 100,000 Y was over that, right? So more than 3 million. So which one is it? Less than 57, that's right. No. No, it should be less than. And here should be over, so it is this one. C. 13. If A raised to negative 1/2 equals to X, where A is positive, this means positive, what is A in terms of X? So now you're solving for A. So how would you get rid of negative 1/2? You can raise it by negative 2 to make it 1. So you raise it to negative 2, which is A, raise it to 1. When you raise power by power, you multiply it, it becomes 1. So X raised it to negative 2 is 1 over X squared. Negative means it goes to the other side. So it is this, C. 14. Which of the following is the value of X for which of the expression negative 3 over X squared plus 3X minus 10 is undefined? If the fraction is undefined, that means this is, denominator is 0. So X squared plus 3X minus 10 equals to 0. So let's factor. What multiplies to negative 10 and adds to 3? X plus 5 and X minus 2. So X is negative 5 and 2, but they're asking for, okay, any of those two. So it will be, there's no negative 5, so it must be positive 2. 15. A granite block in the shape of a right rectangular prism has the dimensions of rectangular prism, dimensions of 30 by 40 and 50. So it should be higher, actually. It's not drawn scale. Okay? It should actually look something like this, right? But anyhow, the block has a density of 2.8. What is the mass of the block in gram? Density is mass divided by volume. So they gave you density, which is 2.8, and mass is what we're looking for. And the volume for a rectangular prism, you multiply them all together. So it's 30 times 40 times 50, 60,000. So to solve for m, you can cross multiply. So it's 60,000 times 2.8. 168,000. So it is D. But make sure you check the units. The mass is, so here it's in grams, and here was also in grams, and the cubic centimeters, and they were in centimeters. So yes, you can just use that. if they give you kilograms, you have to either multiply or divide by 1,000 and make the units equal to each other. But here it wasn't about units. So 16, the number of adults contracting colds. So the table shows the result of research study that investigated the therapeutic value of vitamin C in preventing colds. A random sample of 300 adults received either vitamin C pill or sugar pill each day during a 2-week period. And the adults reported whether they contracted a cold during that time period. What proportion of adults who received a sugar pill reported the contracting a cold? So sugar pill out of 150 had a cold, so cold 33. So it's 33 over 150, so you can divide by 3, top and bottom, so it's 11 over 50, so it is B. 17. Ages of 20 students enrolled in a college class. The table above shows the distribution of age of 20 students enrolled in a college class. Which of the following gives the correct order of the mean, median, and mode? Mean is the average. You add them all and divide by number of students. Median is the middle number. So if there are 20 students, so you're looking at the 10th, between 10th and 11th. And mode is the most. So the most is 18. So that will be the least, right? That will be the smallest because all the other numbers are greater than 18. So the mode will be the smallest. So it's either A or B. And median will be the 10th or 11th. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 10th and 11th are both here. So then it is 19. So mode is 18. Median was 19. Mean was probably greater than, because we have even 30. You have to add it and divide it, so it must be 8, right? If you want to make sure you can add all of these, 18 times 6, 19 times 5, 20 times 4, all that, and divide by 20 students, 20 to get the average. But since there are 30, 23, so when you add all those, it must be greater than 19 or 18. So it must be the greatest one. The average must be the greatest one. So 18, the figure below shows the relationship between the percents of leaf litter mass remaining after decomposing for 3 years and the mean annual temperature, the average temperature, in degrees Celsius in 18 forests in Canada. A line best fit is shown above. Okay. Sometimes you don't even have to read what these are for, but sometimes you need to, but most of the time you don't really have to understand the full context. So let's see. Maybe for this one, maybe you do. A particular forest in Canada whose data is not included in the figure had a mean annual temperature of -2. Based on the line of best fit, which of the following is closest to the periodic percentage leaf masses during, so temperature composing for 3 years. So you're looking for the math remaining, the percentage, it's at -2. So here is -2.5, so negative here. So around 70%, right? So it is C, 70. 19, the range of the polynomial function f is the set of real numbers less than or equal to 4. The zeros of f are -3 and 1. So -3 and 1, -3 and 1. -3 and 1. But here we have 0, so it must be the first two. Which of the following could be the graph of y equals f of x? So range of the polynomial function, so range is the y values, is greater than, less than, or equal to 4. So it must be less than or equal to 4. So here it's greater than 4, right? So it has to be all below it or touching the 4. So it is A. 20. The average annual energy cost for the certain home is $4,334. The homeowner plans to spend $25,000 to install a geothermal heating system. The homeowner estimates that the average annual energy cost will be $2,712. Which of the following inequality can be solved to find T, the number of years after installation at which the total amount of energy cost savings will exceed the installation cost? Okay, so the installation cost is $25,000. So we want to know when it's being greater than that. So it must be not less than that, greater than, right? And compared to this number, now it is that. So you have to find the difference and multiply the number of years, right? So that's how much you're saving each year, because this is how much it was before, but now you only spend this much. So the difference that you're making times number of years must exceed 25,000. So it must be B. What is D? You don't divide it, you subtract it.